Hey friends, how are you doing? Welcome to my physics class. Let's discuss another chapter, that is vectors. So till now what we discussed, that any physical quantity that can be either the scalars or can be a vector. The only difference between the vector and scalar is its direction. So vector involves both quantity and the directions. Here the quantity is the length of the vector here. So suppose I'm saying that I'm walking in the east direction, let's say 5 units. So my displacement will be 5 unit along east, so towards east. So that is the vector quantity of displacement, 5 unit towards the east direction. So vector usually we represented with arrowhead, and this is the tip and this is the tail of the arrow. The examples can be the velocity, force, acceleration, and we are going to discuss more about all these things in the coming chapters. So there are different types of vectors, but the most important thing you are going to deal with is the negative vector. So negative vector is the same magnitude as or the same length as the positive vector, but the only difference is that the directions. In maths the negative means the less quantity, but here the negative means the opposite direction. In physics, always remember negative means in opposite direction. The magnitude will remain the same. If the vector A here is 5 unit, here the length will be 5 unit, but if it is towards east, the direction for negative A will be towards west. Now coming to vector addition and subtraction. So if you have two vectors, say A and B, we can either add these two vectors or subtract these two vectors to get the total. That here we name this as the resultant of the two vector. Let's say a vector A is there, which is A 3 units, and the vector B, which is 4 units. So the resultant is simply because they are in the same directions, we can say the resultant is 4 plus 3 is 7 unit. We can simplify this as, suppose I am traveling towards or you are traveling towards the grocery stores, that is about 3 units from your house. Then from there you are traveling 4 more units to your friend's house. So what will be your total displacement? That is 3 units plus 4 units is 7 units. Since the direction is same, it will be 7 units towards the east. Now coming to the subtraction of the two vectors, vector A and B, this we can say that this is the addition of the vector A, positive vector A, with the negative B vector. So what I told you, negative means simply the same magnitude but in the opposite directions. So A minus B is simply A plus negative B. That gives you the resultant. Let's say A is 4 units. That means you are traveling to your school towards east 4 units. Now while traveling back from your schools, you stop at your friend's house. So what is your total displacement? That means how much total you travel. So that is 4 plus minus 2 is equals to 2 units. That means from your initial position, you are only travel 2 units. So this is A minus B. Again, I'm telling you, this is only the initial period. So we are dealing with very simple questions, but we are going to discuss more and more complicated questions in the coming days. Now for vector additions, we have two different methods by which we can add the or subtract the vectors. The first one is the tip-tail method. This simply apply for the triangles. Here, if there are two vectors, vector A and B, the law says that you have to put the two vectors like in order, that is from one. If vector A, you place this direction from starting to tail to tip, the second B in the same order from the tip of the A towards this direction, then the resultant will be represented by the third side of the triangle, that is in the opposite order, that is starting from the tail of the A towards the tip of the B. So two vectors in one order and the resultant will be in opposite order. Similarly, to find out A minus B, let's say this is vector A and this is positive B. So think how the negative B will look like. So this will be simply in the opposite direction, minus B. Now you can form your triangle. Let's say I put A in this direction, then negative B I put in the same order, that is from the tip of the A towards this direction. The resultant will be the third side of the triangle, starting from the tail of the A towards the tip of the B. So that is A minus B. Now the other one is the parallelogram law, where A plus B, that means if you have two vectors A and B, to find out the resultant, you can put this vector A and B as the two sides of the parallelogram acting at the same point. If this is the origin, so you have to draw the two arrows from the same origin points. A towards this direction, B towards this direction, then the resultant you will get by the diagonal of the parallelogram. That will give A plus B. And the total and its complete proof I put in the next video. You can go through that video. Excuse me. Now coming to the vector subtraction, A minus B. If A and B are two vectors, see, this is vector B, so I can simply represent negative B in the opposite directions like this. So now to satisfy the condition, let's put these two vectors as the two sides of the parallelogram starting from the any origin. So if this is a origin O and I'm starting the two vectors from the same origin. Let's say A in this direction. Since this is my negative B, I draw negative B towards this direction, negative B. So the resultant R will be the diagonal of the parallelogram along these directions. Now if you can see, this is same as the tip to tail method. A, this is minus B, and this starting from A towards B is R plus B, that is R plus minus B, that is the resultant. Or you can say this resultant is minus B plus A is R. So so that's how we are going to get the resultant of the two vectors.